Okay, it's real. We finally have a date. September 15th. The Clarity Act just took the single biggest step it has ever taken. The farthest this bill has ever moved. And already, the hype machine is spinning it into something it isn't. It's official. XRP won. So let me be the one person tonight who looks you in the eye and tells you the truth. What happened this weekend is not a victory. Not yet. Here's what is real, though. When the regulators drew their line earlier this year, XRP wasn't named alone. It was listed right beside Stellar, Hedera, and even Bitcoin. XRP is in very good company, but there's a strange word behind all the hype today: Cloture. And the hype accounts are praying you never learn what it actually means. We didn't get a finish line this weekend. We got a starting gun. And between here and that finish line sit two hidden landmines that could blow this whole thing up on live TV. No hype, no doom. Just the honest map, the date, the word, and the two fights that decide everything. Stay with me. Real quick, from the heart. None of this is financial advice, and I'm not a financial advisor. I can't predict the Senate, and nobody can. Everything here is my opinion, a scenario, never a promise. So protect your family first, do your own research, and never let anyone rush your decisions, me included. Okay? Let's get into it. Let me give it to you exactly as it happened, because the details are being wildly exaggerated everywhere else. Early Saturday morning, at the tail end of a long overnight session, the Senate Majority Leader John Thune did something the crypto world has been waiting years for. He filed cloture on the motion to proceed to the Clarity Act. And under an agreement the Senate reached that same morning, a vote was locked onto the calendar. Tuesday, September 15th, at 2:15 in the afternoon Eastern Time, the day after the Senate returns from its August break. Now I want to be fair and give this moment the respect it deserves, because it is genuinely significant. This is the farthest this bill has ever traveled. The Clarity Act already passed the House of Representatives back in July of last year. It cleared a key Senate committee earlier this year on a 15-9 vote. And now, for the first time, it has a real scheduled date on the Senate floor. That's not nothing. After years of lawsuits, confusion, and waiting, the industry finally has a concrete step forward on the calendar. I'm genuinely glad to see it, and so should you be. And here's the part I told you in the opening, the part that actually matters for your bags. This isn't only an XRP story. When America's two big financial regulators drew the line earlier this year, defining which coins are commodities, XRP was named directly, sitting right alongside Bitcoin, Stellar, and Hedera. So, when you see those four logos traveling together everywhere today, there's a real reason for it. They were grouped together by the regulators themselves. XRP is in very, very good company. But respecting the moment and understanding the moment are two different things. Because the word at the center of all this, cloture, does not mean what 90% of the internet is telling you tonight. Let me translate it. Okay, deep breath, because this is the single most important thing in the entire video, and almost nobody is explaining it honestly. When you hear we have a vote on September 15th, your brain naturally thinks, great, that's the day they passed the Clarity Act. That is not what happens on that day, not even close. Let me walk you through it in plain English. What's scheduled for the 15th is a cloture vote on the motion to proceed. Try to picture the Senate as a very slow, very formal building with lots of locked doors. The four senators can even walk into the room and start debating the actual bill. They first have to vote just to open the door to that room. That's what cloture on the motion to proceed is. It's a vote to allow a debate that could later lead to another vote. It does not pass the bill. It doesn't even begin debating it. It just decides whether they're allowed to start. And here's the catch that makes it hard. To open that door, they need 60 votes. 60. The Republicans hold 53 seats. So even if every single Republican says yes, they still need at least 7 Democrats or independents to cross the aisle and vote with them. And as of right now, tonight, those 7 votes are not locked in, not confirmed. So let me put the honest question straight to you and answer it in your head before you hit the comments. If September 15th is only a vote to allow a debate, and it still needs 7 opposition votes that nobody has secured yet, yes or no? Does that sound like XRP already won to you? Just yes or no. Sit with it, because I'm not telling you this to scare you or to be negative. I'm telling you because the people who understand the actual process are the ones who won't get emotionally whipsawed when the drama plays out. And drama is coming because of 2 specific fights. Let me show you the first landmine. Here's the first thing that could stop this whole train, and I'm going to keep it strictly factual, because this one has nothing to do with left or right, and everything to do with your XRP. One of the biggest sticking points holding up those Democratic votes is a disagreement over ethics language inside the bill. In plain terms, it's a debate over how strict the rules should be for senior government officials who personally own or profit from crypto. A proposed version of that language, which would require certain officials to divest, to step back from their crypto stakes, was sent over to the White House for a response. And as of right now, that response has been sitting there, unanswered, for over a week. That silence matters. Because until that piece gets resolved in a way both sides can accept, a block of votes stays frozen. You can schedule all the votes you want, but if this knot doesn't get untied before September 15th, the math doesn't work. Now, I'm not here to assign villains or heroes in this. That's not what this channel does, and honestly, it's a distraction from your actual goal, which is understanding what moves XRP. The clean takeaway is simply this. There is an unresolved ethics negotiation. It's parked at the White House, and it is one of the 2 things standing between a scheduled vote and an actual passing vote. Watch that space between now and September. If you see news that the ethics language got resolved, that's a genuinely bullish signal. If the silence drags on, temper your expectations. And that's only landmine number 1. The second one is quieter, more technical, and honestly might be even harder to defuse. This second fight almost never makes the flashy headlines, but it might be the more dangerous of the 2, so pay close attention. The second sticking point is about stablecoins, and specifically whether stablecoin issuers should be allowed to pay yield, basically interest, to the people holding them. Now, why on earth would that hold up a crypto bill? Follow the money for a second, because it's simple once you see it. If a stablecoin can pay you yield just for holding it, it starts to look an awful lot like a savings account at a bank, except without the bank. And that worries the traditional banking industry, because it could pull deposits away from community banks all across the country. So the banking lobby has pushed back hard, and reportedly, at least 2 Republican senators have said they will vote against the entire bill, unless it's changed to protect those community banks. Do you see the problem? That's potentially 2 votes lost from the very same side that's trying to pass this. When you already need to convince 7 people from the other party to join you, you cannot afford to be leaking votes from your own. So now you have the full, honest picture. 2 landmines, an ethics negotiation frozen at the White House, and a stablecoin fight that could cost votes from within. Both have to be diffused in a very tight window, because after September, the Senate's attention gets swallowed by the midterm election season. And if the bill doesn't get across the line in that narrow stretch, the whole process could reset, potentially pushing a comprehensive law into 2027. I know that sounds heavy, but here's why. Even with all of this, I want you to walk away feeling steady and even hopeful. Let's zoom all the way out, calmly, and put this in its proper place. Here's the thing that the panic crowd and the hype crowd both miss in opposite directions. XRP's core position does not actually hinge on September 15th. Remember what we've established. XRP already has its classification as a digital commodity from earlier this year, named directly by the regulators, right alongside Bitcoin, Stellar, and Hedera. Spot XRP funds are already trading. Its network just shipped a major upgrade full of institutional tools. None of that gets erased if a procedural vote slips. So what would the Clarity Act actually add? Permanence. It would take the footing XRP already stands on and lock it into law, so it can't be reinterpreted by some future administration. That's a real, valuable prize. It's an accelerant. But it is not a lifeline that XRP is desperate for. And that distinction is everything, because it means you can watch September 15th with curiosity instead of fear. So here's what I gently encourage. Don't let the "it's official, XRP already won" hype pump you into a rushed decision this week. And don't let the "it's doomed" crowd scare you into panic if the vote gets messy. Both of those emotional extremes are how people get separated from good decisions. The truth is calmer and steadier than either one. We have a real date, we have two real obstacles, and we have an asset that's already standing on solid ground, while the permanence gets sorted out. Please, as always, nothing reckless. Don't bet the roof over your head on a Senate vote, or on my read of it, or on anyone's. Just keep watching the board with clear eyes, because the people who understand exactly what September 15th is and exactly what it isn't are the ones who stay calm and early while everyone else rides the emotional roller coaster. That's not hype. That's just knowing the map before the journey. This has been Crypto with BHW. We're early. The foundation is being poured, and I'll see you in the very next one.